guys, thanks so much for tuning in to On the Couch with Fouch. This is the place to come for interviews with your favorite Southern gospel music artists. And Joseph, you and I were just talking a few minutes ago. You actually watch these interviews as well.
I do. I'm really excited to be on the show because usually when I'm on the road, I travel with my wife, and we stay in a lot of hotels. So every night, I'll get online and see what's on social media. And usually whenever a new On the Couch with Fouch comes up, I like to watch them. So I've seen Jim Brady's, Gerald Wolf's, Mark Trammel's, Kana's Voice. I've seen Scott Inman's, which was actually Scott Inman's was done on a beach.
Yeah.
And I think it was the Bahamas or Mexico or something.
It was.
And so I've seen all of these, and I'm a huge fan of On the Couch with Fouch. However, I did not expect that my interview for On the Couch with Fouch would be on a cement seat. So, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for that.
This year's been a rough year with On the Couch with Fouch, and we've had to make some cutbacks. And
Budget cuts.
One of the things that got cut this year at the National Quartet Convention for the interviews was the couch.
So we're on the cement with Matt Fouch.
Yeah. Has the perfect ring to it.
It must be
it?
because I'm a soloist. Now, if I was with a quartet, I might get a couch. You know what I mean?
That's exactly the reason. You
or a
figured
trio,
it out.
or maybe even a family group, which I used to be with the Perrys, so at least I could get
true.
like half a couch.
Well,
you know what I mean?
speaking of being with the Perrys,
Mm-hmm.
several of the questions when I put out there I was going to be interviewing you, a lot of people had questions about your time with the Perrys. So just talk about your history a little bit and your time with the Perrys and stuff like that.
Well, I was 17 when they hired me, and I was in California visiting my grandparents, and I had left my cell phone inside. I just gotten a cell phone in their house, and I was outside on their deck, and my papa answered the phone, and it was Tracy, and he came out and said, "Hey, there's somebody on the phone with you." I went in, and I'd heard that they were looking. There was somebody at Daywind Records that had heard that, or knew that they were looking for a baritone singer, called me and said, "Hey, just a heads up, if you're interested, the Perrys are looking for a singer." So they called me and said, "Would you like to try out?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm actually going to be at the Quartet Convention." It was like 2 weeks away. I said, "Would it be okay if I tried out then, or do you need somebody before then?" And he was like, "No, that's great." So I went to the Quartet Convention, tried out, and he actually tried me out on the stage on I think it was like a Tuesday, it was like a Friday night at Quartet Convention. I was 17 years old.
Wow.
And I did
Takes
what a
some
day
nerves.
that. Oh yeah, I was a little nervous. And then they hired me, and it's funny because my dream, I had always prayed that God would let me be with the group singing full time by the time I was 18. My 18th birthday was the week after they hired me.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
So it's pretty
Funny
neat.
how he works.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I
Well,
got to live up my dream.
Share one of your favorite memories of your time with the Perrys. Because how long were you there?
10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 10 years. Probably my favorite memory was about a year into it. The group had never won an award at all, and we ended up winning Mixed Group of the Year and like 3 times in a row. But the first time we won was like a year after I came. I came at a perfect time because the Perrys were really on the rise as far as they were becoming very, very popular and successful, and I was so grateful that I got to get in at a great time, and it was such an amazing experience just to see how the fans kind of came together.
It started to embrace them.
Exactly. It was just a really good moment, and so I would not trade anything for my time with the Perrys. Those 10 years, I learned so much, and I could not have a solo ministry today had I not had that experience with Tracy and Libby and all the Perrys. So I'm really grateful for my time, and grateful to them for giving me my start.
Well, you just mentioned you're doing a solo ministry now.
Yeah.
And you're singing by yourself, and you're traveling with your wife.
Mm-hmm.
And one question that came up was from Ruth Hebert, and she wants to know, would you ever consider joining a group again?
Well, I've learned to never say never. However, with that being said, I'm so happy now with what I'm doing, and I know I had so many people encourage me when I came off the road. I took some time off, about 7 months. A lot of you know that. But when I came back, I had a lot of people encourage me to start a group, and I really, really wanted to. I just never could get peace about it. And I've had a few opportunities since I've been a soloist to join some groups, or at least try out for some groups. And I'm just so happy the fact that I get to travel with my wife, and I'm getting to do a lot of church, local church stuff, which I love. I grew up in the local church, like most of us did, but I just have a real heart for helping the local church, especially people that are really going through dark times in their lives. And so, to be honest, again, I would never say never. However, I'm so happy doing what I'm doing, and I'm really grateful that I have this solo ministry.
Right. Well, you just mentioned, you love to help people going through dark times in their lives, and so just real briefly, share the dark time that you went through not long ago, and then after you share that, I want you to share one truth or a verse or something that you clung to during that time that you can now share with people that are going through a dark time themselves.
Well, for those of you who don't know, I was when I was with the Perrys for 10 years, about 5 years into my tenure with the Perrys, I was introduced to prescription drugs because of an ulcer on the back of my throat. Ended up getting addicted to prescription drugs, and ended up having to come off the road because of prescription drug addiction. And it was a really humbling and it was a tough time. I mean, I felt like I would never sing again, and I'm so grateful, for what the Lord's done in my life. It's been 3.5 years. I think it's 1,200, and I don't know when this will air, but today is like 1,224 days that I've been off of all prescription pain medicine, so 3.5 years. I'm so grateful. And I tell you what really encouraged me during that time, the verse, I was having some kickback from people who encouraged me not to share my testimony, because I had somebody really close to me who I love and respect say, people don't want to know where you've been, they want to know where you're going. And so I prayed about that, and then I had other people telling me, you need to share your story, you got to share your story, it'll help people. And so I was really torn, and I read this verse in the Bible, Revelation 12:11, that says, we overcame him, meaning the devil, by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's it, that's how I overcome him, by the blood, obviously, that was applied to my life when I asked for forgiveness for these sins, and then secondly, by sharing my testimony. It's not always easy to get up and tell people, hey, I'm a recovering prescription drug addict. However, if it helps one person who's watching, it gives them hope, then it's worth me trying to humble myself and say, hey, this is who I am. I'm not a perfect person, I'm flawed, but Jesus has done a remarkable work in my life, and I'm so grateful for it, because it's been the best thing that's ever happened to me.
So, I mean, that's a passion of yours now, helping people, right?
Absolutely. I do a lot of recovery stuff as far as helping. Even there's people in the local church, there's people close to me. I'll just say people in the industry even who come to me and say, hey, I'm having a problem with this, what do I do? And I'm able to help people that I would have otherwise never been able to help. I feel like our ministry is so much more approachable because of that, and letting people know that when you let people know that you're flawed, you become instantly relatable.
Right.
And so I'm grateful for that, and I want people to be able to come up and say, hey, pray for my grandson, he's struggling with heroin addiction, or pray for my granddaughter, she's an alcoholic, whatever it may be, and even other things. We want to be there to help you and pray for you and encourage you, and places to go when you need help.
Well, there may be someone watching right now. Maybe, we don't know. I don't know who is watching, but there may be someone watching right now that is struggling with exactly what you struggled with. Give them a word to help them right now. Something that some scripture they can go to, something they can think about to help them in this moment.
Well, ultimately, you have to want help before you can get help. And I know a lot of people hear that, but you really have to want it, because it's easy to live in our sinful state. That's easy.
That's any sin.
What's hard is to live holy and just and clean and sober. Like the Bible says, be sober, be vigilant. That's in there for a reason. And I would encourage whoever it is to talk to somebody. And that's the hardest thing when you're going through that, because you feel like you're so ashamed, you're so embarrassed, and you just feel like you're the only person in the world that's going through this. But if you'll just open up to somebody and say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, I'm struggling, I need help. That's the only word you need to say, help. And not only will there be people that help you, but Christ will help you when you humble yourself and go to Him. So that's the biggest thing, is communication for me.
And I hope that if you are struggling with something today, that is definitely helpful. Because not only do I like having a good time doing these interviews, and I like getting to some fun stories, but I also want to always give somebody something of substance, more than just, what was your favorite memory, and what was the most embarrassing, what was the funnest moment. I want to give them something of substance, spiritually or in a personal way. So I hope that helps somebody today. Going on to the next questions. Ray Wiseman wants to know, well, let me start over with this little segment here. You're a songwriter.
I am.
You've written a lot of great songs.
Thanks.
And you've had cuts by a lot of different groups in gospel music.
I just got my first Legacy 5 cut.
Hey, it's a Christmas song. You're going to love it.
Anyway, moving on.
So Nick Trammell wants to know your favorite cut performed of a song you have written, performed by another artist.
Oh my goodness, that's tough. My favorite cut. You know, the first thing that comes to mind is Footprints on the Water by Gold City. I love that cut. They just did it several years ago. I'm trying to think, you know, the Perrys, of course I was with them then. The Perrys, of course, did If You Knew Him, and I'm very passionate about that one. But yeah, I would have to say...
See, that would have been my guess, that
If You Knew
Him.
Since I'm not with them anymore,
yeah.
If You Knew Him by the Perrys. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, then Ray Wiseman, that's where I was going earlier. He wants to know, what's the song that came to you the fastest?
If You Knew Him.
Really?
Yeah.
How long?
It took us about 30 minutes to write If You Knew Him. Me and Rodney. I wrote it with Rodney Griffin with Greater Vision, and it was I think it's the first or second time we ever wrote together. It was probably the quickest song I've ever written. Yeah, no question.
Rob Patz wants to know, do you have a cheesehead hat?
Are you kidding? I got 2. I have 2 in my office, and I think I've got one more laying around somewhere. My office is full of Packers memorabilia. For those of you who don't know watching, I'm a die-hard, avid Green Bay Packers fan. Have been since I was in the 4th grade, and Brett Favre days. And I know all the history, and I love Bart Starr and Paul Hornung and Ray Nitsky and all these guys that I love Green Bay.
Wow.
Yeah. So
wow.
Yes.
So you do have the cheesehead hat.
Oh yeah.
Tons. I would love to see photos of you with that hat on.
I'll pray about it.
Put them out there.
I don't know if it's gonna happen. No.
Tony Watson wants to know, Whataburger or In-N-Out?
In-N-Out, no question. I'm actually sorry, Texas. Texas is. This will be a good way to do this. Texas is my favorite state to sing in, no question.
Okay.
However, I don't love
state.
Whataburger. I love In-N-Out. In-N-Out is the best burger I've ever had in my life. And I actually just got to introduce my wife to it in Dallas, Texas, because they've got In-N-Outs in Dallas,
yeah,
in the Dallas area. And so that was a cool experience to get to see her. And she liked it because she's a very good Christian woman, and they have Bible verses on their stuff, so she really thought that was cool.
They do that.
So,
Danny Jones wants to know, who's your favorite uncle?
Danny Jones.
See, okay, is he really your uncle?
No, actually,
Okay.
Matthew Holt and Matthew Holt's the piano player for the Gaither Vocal Band, but before that he was with the Perrys for a lot of years, and we traveled together, and we always called him Uncle Danny. And I think at that point we were really trying to, well, let's just say he's kind of a higher up. We were trying to be kind of, get on his good side. So we really thought if we were friendly with Danny Jones, we could just we could really do well in the industry. So we got really close. I can't believe I'm admitting this on television.
Right. I mean, you sure
Sorry.
are. Danny, I hope you're watching. Now
yeah,
you
Danny,
know the
this
truth.
is just mute this. But no, and now I call him Uncle Danny. I have for years. He's in my phone as Uncle Danny, and yeah, Danny Jones. By the way, he's the editor-in-chief of the Singing News now.
Yeah, he is.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
He's a bigwig with no hair.
Anyway, give me your best impersonation of Elvis.
Oh my goodness! Did somebody ask for that? Or
Nope.
You just...
That is
I don't know if I
totally
can
me.
do that. Best impersonation of Elvis.
Yeah. Do you need to stand up for this one?
No, did you get it?
Go ahead. Oh, that's horrible.
I'm sorry.
That's
I'm sorry. I know.
Sorry,
I
all
ain't
you
nothing but I can't do it. I'm really embarrassed. I ain't nothing but a hound dog, working all the time.
That's good.
It's funny because Elvis is like the most impersonated person
individual
ever.
Yeah.
Ever. So I probably not even on the
Dude,
top.
you were doing well.
Anyway, yeah, that's all I got. I ain't nothing but a hound dog. And you gotta move the shoulders and legs. Anyway, yeah.
So when are you gonna do your Elvis tribute album?
Well, I think somebody already did that. Ronnie Booth.
Ronnie
did that, yeah.
has one.
I'm gonna
yes.
leave that to Ronald.
Ronnie
Ronald.
It's really good. He does a great job on it. Okay, so I did this in another interview, and I'm going to do it with you. I've only done 2. This is only one. This is only the second one. I want you to sing the words of "When I Survey the Wondrous Cross" to the tune of "Amazing Grace." See if you can figure that one out for a second. While he's thinking, I just want to tell you guys that On the Couch with Fouch, you can find it at mattfouch.com. Sign up for the emails. Hit subscribe while you're on YouTube.
It's not a
like,
place for
comment,
a
and share.
plug.
Yes, it is. While you're thinking.
I'm ready.
You ready? Okay. Well, anyways, do all that. So go ahead. While he's still thinking, even though he said he was.
When I survey the wondrous cross on which the Prince of Glory died.
Ooh.
That's all I got. Is that pretty good?
Yeah.
Glory
I like how
died,
you did the
Prince.
rush.
Glory died.
See, if I were doing this,
Needs tune.
when I survey the wondrous cross on which the Prince of Glory died.
That was better. That was better.
But see, I went with the key you were in. And
That's
it's
why
like high for me.
That's why you're top 5 bass singer. And I'm not top 5 anything.
Okay. It's time for the Fouch Zone. And you've been watching, so you know what the Fouch Zone is. I don't even have to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm going to get these
I'm
questions
excited.
on here. Who invented the scissors?
Leonardo da Vinci.
How high can penguins jump?
6 feet.
Time. How many noses does a slug have?
4.
And how many times a day does your heart beat? Time.
59, not 1,000. I cheated.
You
I saw these
cheated.
already.
You cheated.
How many did I get right? I got 3 out
You
of
got
4.
3 out of 4.
Boom.
That is the best anyone's ever done.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Cheater.
you're a cheater.
Well, so here's
yeah.
what happened. He was writing these down before
Yeah.
the interview, and I acted like I was looking at my phone, and I was looking over the whole time.
And before that, I said,
answers.
when I started writing them, I said, let me just reenact this. I said, don't look at these while I'm writing these down.
And I said, okay.
And I said,
I didn't say I would. I just said, okay. I didn't lie.
so who invented the scissors?
Leonardo da Vinci. I already
That's
told
correct.
you. Yeah.
How high can penguins jump?
6 feet.
About 6 feet.
Mhm.
And how many
Which is pretty
noses
crazy.
does a slug have?
4.
And how many times a day does your
All
heart
right.
beat?
I didn't see this one, so let me
You
guess.
said 50, I think.
I said I was gonna say 59,000.
Oh.
Is that way off?
No, I mean you're in, I guess, you're relatively in the ballpark.
100,000. Yeah. At least I was about.
Can you imagine 100,000 times a day your
Yeah.
heart?
I
That's
wonder how
pretty
many
cool.
times my heart's beat through this.
Well, it depends on
interview.
how nervous you've been, I guess.
Actually, I've been pretty nervous. I
Pretty
mean,
smooth, ain't it? It's pretty easy.
it's pretty smooth, but yeah, except when I had to impersonate Elvis, I was a little. Anyway.
Man, Joseph, thanks so much.
Oh
I've
man,
had
my
a great
honor.
time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining me, and tell the folks where they can go get information about Joseph Habedank.
josephhabadank.com. And you can go to josephhabadank.com, or you look me up on Facebook. It's a great way to keep in touch. For those of you who have Facebook accounts or Twitter, we have an Instagram. If you like pictures, you can go on Instagram /Joseph Habadank. Twitter is twitter.com /Joseph Habadank. And Facebook is facebook.com /Joseph Habadank Music.
And you're saying your last name so fast and so many times.
Habedank.
Go ahead and spell it and just say
Okay.
it real slow
So
so
you
people
say,
know.
you know how you write ha? That's the first part. Ha, bed, A-N-K. Ank. Ha, bed, A-N-K. Habedank.
Now say it just slow and nice.
Habadank.
Habadank.
I don't know why. I don't know why I sang that. I can do Elvis sort of.
Habadank.
Habadank.
That's great.
Habadank.
Thanks so much for watching,
See you
guys. Hope
guys.
You have a great day.
Thanks.